ต็มฟูหลานกี่หากาเฮงยงกุยอยากเข้าฝ่ายหลานดังแกลนงวยเข้าฝ่ายให้ก็คงกาเฮง
The Chinaman can do as much work underground as I can. He has no wife and family. He performs none of these duties. 40 or 50 of his kind can live in a house no larger than mine. He craves no variety in food. He's inherited no taste for comfort or for social enjoyment. Conditions that satisfy him and make him contented would make my life not worth living. Not worth living. The Chinaman comes in taking advantage of our skill, of our toil, and of our struggles, driving us from fields of industry which we have created and which our race alone can create.
Whiteness as a category is being produced in the 19th century, that in the early part of the 19th century through even the later part, certain immigrant groups, certain European immigrant groups, Eastern Europeans, Italians, Irish, are not necessarily considered to be white, which is usually a category reserved for Anglo and Germanic peoples. So it's really during this process of incredible tension and strife around race, around these different racial groups, that white becomes to coalesce to mean all the peoples of Europe. Sex-segregated societies with a large number of men, very few women, which were also very multiracial, there are all sorts of relationships that occurred that didn't often happen in Eastern settled circumstances, so that there would be sexual and racial and gender crossings that wouldn't necessarily happen. There's a lot of evidence to show that there were relationships, intimate relationships between men, which sometimes were just in terms of bed sharing, which was a common practice in the 19th century. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were sharing sexual pleasures, but the ways in which men write about and talk about the fact that they would share beds with one particular man or another suggests a great deal about their notions of companionship and the kinds of affections they had for each other.
It's getting late soon. People are going to start coming up.
I got my things together. Sorry, I thought I got all the pieces.
You vacuum anyway.
I don't know what happened. I was just nodding off, and that's my great-grandfather. He worked out here on the railroad.
Like me. He was handsome. Family resemblance?
That one I don't know how to read.
This is normal in China.
What's normal in China?
Men hold hands.
The whole notion that sexuality is your identity, that somehow who you desire and who you sleep with and who you have sexual pleasures with, somehow says something very revealing and very important about who you are is a completely new notion. So the kinds of sexual classifications that were going on in the late 19th century were quite different.
Cases of the most revolting crime came before them, one instance of which all details could, if necessary, be supplied, was that of a man who cut out the penis of another who refused to submit to his degrading desires.
Sodomy is a habit. Sometimes 30 or 40 boys, leaving Hong Kong apparently in good health, before arriving here would be found to be afflicted about the anus with venereal diseases. And on questioning the Chinese doctors to disclose what it was, they admitted that it was a common practice among them.
I've never seen sodomy committed between man and man, but I have seen it with beasts and detected them in the act, with hogs, dogs, and ducks, but not in a great number of cases.
是誰興利所變？是誰興利之犯？是誰興利拉神？是誰興利爭論正常？
But, Lobson, lesbian and gay rights are a major issue right now. The new immigrant story's been covered a lot. This is a fresh angle. On the contrary, I think it would attract Chinese readers. Yes, but isn't a little controversy a good thing?